got bleach on this? I didn't even know that. Okay, let me get everything situated. Let me set this up all the way. A little bit. Yes. Okay. Hi guys. I'm back with another video for y'all today. And don't ask why I'm wearing a hoodie in August. It's cold in my house. Like, it's cold. I don't know. It be getting cold like at certain parts of the day in my house. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But I just want to put on a hoodie because today, let me get myself situated because I'm not liking how I'm looking right now. Today I'm gonna be doing I am gonna be doing a sit down type video, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys because I don't know if I said it in the previous video, but I do want to have my channel. I did say it in the previous video, but I do want to do sit down videos and talk to you guys on my channel, like have that type of vibe. I'm not gonna get too much into it. You'll see as I get further into my content. But yeah, guys, I have news. I'm 18. I'm 18 now. I am legally an adult. My birthday was August the 7th. And I'm pretty sure all y'all know that because I always talk about it because Leo season. I'm glad that I made it to 18, and I hope that every year is more progress and more abundance and just everything. So with that being said, I turned 18, and you know, 18 is a big milestone. I'm officially legally an adult. It's kind of like surreal, like I'm really an adult now, like what, like legally, but I'm still very young. I'm still young, like technically still a baby kind of, but I'm legally an adult. That's how I think of it. With that being said, I decided to make a video talking about all the things that I have learned in this time frame from turning 18, from the time I was 17 to 18, what I've learned in this trip around the sun. So anyways, like I was saying, I had to stop recording y'all because my sister had got home from school and I had to go greet her and everything. Like I was saying, yeah, so I turned 18, and it's kind of like crazy how I'm getting old, but I'm still young, but I'm getting old. So, you know, I just wanted to talk about things, like I said, that I have learned since I turned 17 to now being 18. It's been a lot in this past year, and I just want to reflect on it and share the lessons that I have learned with you guys. The one thing I want to touch on before I get started, well, I might touch on that in the end. So I wrote them down in my Frida Kahlo notebook. This is my favorite notebook because it's Frida Kahlo, and I love art and artists and anything like that. And I got this from, actually I got this as like a grad gift from my Spanish teacher, Frida Kahlo. Duh. This is like the journal that I've been using because I like to journal. Okay, so I wrote down the lessons that I've learned. It's not everything, but I feel like it's the key ones that I really feel like will resonate with y'all. So we're just gonna stop talking and get into the lessons. So the first lesson that I learned was that social media isn't real. When I say this, I mean it isn't real. Like, social media is kind of what you make it mentally. We tend to take social media very seriously when it comes to what we see and how we perceive things, but social media is a platform. It's not real life. It's what you choose to post, and it's what you choose to intake. Therefore, it's not something that can be trusted always when it comes to relaying or, you know, perceptions, things like that. We tend to see other people doing things, and this is something that I feel like I need to talk to my generation about, because we always see other people our age doing things and living a certain way or doing things, and we tend to compare ourselves. And this is a very pivotal time for people our age, because it's like you're fresh out of high school and you're trying to figure out what you want to do from here on out. And what you figure out right now, that doesn't mean that you're going to be doing that for the rest of your life. Let me just say that. We're still very young and our minds are still developing, and we still don't really have the straight idea of what we want. What we want right now may not be what we want in the next 10 years, not, maybe even 5, maybe even 2. We're always changing, but we're all just trying to stress ourselves out right now and figure out what we want to do, when in reality, we're very young and we have time. And just know that what you want now may not be what you want in the future, and it's okay not to know. It's okay to be oblivious and be not in the loop when it comes to that. But back to social media, we tend to look at other people and how they're living and compare ourselves. Comparison is low tier, it's down here. Do not compare yourself, because that is the killer of all joy. It is very, 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 very draining to constantly compare yourself to the next person. And social media is, what we have to realize is, social media is what we decide to put out, is what we decide to share. That may not be the whole spectrum of what's going on in somebody's life. Nobody's perfect, and social media is not the reality of everything. People go through things like everybody else, whether you share it or you don't share it. Just know that what you see on social media is not always the case. And we always turn to social media for advice as well. Advice on social media is very kind of on the fence, because some advice is very good. You be like, okay, this is good advice. But other ways, it's a way for people to project negativity on the platform, their social media platform. Now, it's their choice what they want to post, but it's also your choice if you want to intake the information and which you decide to follow. You have full control over social media, your social media. You have control over who you follow, who follows you, who you want to block, what you post, everything. So just keep that in mind, that you have control over what you want to see and what you want your social media to be. So don't make it seem like it has to be something negative, because social media can be and is very negative for our mental health. But you can alleviate some of that negativity by choosing wisely who you want to follow, who you want to, communicate with. My advice is to, don't always judge everybody from their social media. Like, people, sometimes use social media as their platform to be, just as much they use social media to flex and show off what they got. People use social media to, get out their feelings or whatever they want to do, or share. Like, close friends, everybody be letting it out on there. And like, some people just don't really have an outside platform to let it out on, so they let it out on social media. And we have to keep that in mind, that social media is different things in everybody's book. The main thing I'm trying to say is, social media is not real, and it can be very negative. And be who you are on and off the media. Don't try to fake who you are for the media. Social media is irrelevant. It's not that serious. It's an app. It's apps. Don't let that dictate your reality, your mood, anything like that. And I'm not just trying to bash social media, because I use social media, and social media can be very beneficial to people who are content creators, people who have businesses. It has its positive aspects, but for the people who, tend to get more of a negative vibe from social media, this is my advice to them, and just to, keep those things in mind. The next lesson that I learned is that my journey is my journey. And what I mean by that is back to comparison. I've been very prone to comparing myself to the next person and what they're doing, especially now. I see everybody going off to school, going off to college, doing things, and I'm like, dang, like, it's like, golly, like, what am I doing right now? It's like, you always try to be like, oh, what you could be doing, but then you have to realize that your journey is your journey. What you're doing is not the same as what the next person is doing, and that's completely fine. But that, does not mean that, you know, it's wrong, or that does not mean that it's wrong or your journey is wrong. Everybody has their own individual way that their life is going to go. Everybody has their own individual passion. Everybody has their own individual life and reality. You know, some people are forced to go to school. Some people want to go to school. Both are okay. Like, you know, I mean, not being forced to go to school, but, you know, it happens. So it's like, but everybody's journey is different. And just because you're not going to school does not mean you're low life or anything. College is not for everyone. And college is overrated in my opinion, but that's for another video. It's overhyped in my opinion, but that's for another video. But my journey is my journey, and I'm going to just do what I want to do and do what makes me happy, and stop comparing. And that's my advice to you guys. Stop comparing what you're doing in your life to the next person, because if you're going through a dark time, that's temporary. It's all about your mindset and how you choose to look at it, because your mindset has so much power over your outside reality, believe it or not. The next thing follows right back into what I just said. The next lesson that I learned is, do not take life too seriously. And I feel like this is a very accommodating lesson for me, because, you know, we all tend to take life very seriously. We all tend to stress. Stress, baby, stress gives you wrinkles. Stress gives you pimples. Stress is nothing good. So why do it, you know? And I know people, like, you don't have control, because I stress a lot over nothing. But, you know, stress is like, you can't control it sometimes. Like, it happens, you know, you stress. It's a natural instinct to stress for a lot of people, most people. But we had to realize that I don't want to be one of them white hippies like on TikTok, but literally, like, we're living on a floating rock. We're living in a reality where people want you to stress. We live in a society where, you know, it's built on stress and negativity and, you know, conforming. We need to learn as a unit that we just gotta stop stressing. Like, stressing does nothing but hurt you. You have to just learn how to take things as they are, and let have trust in yourself and the universe, or whatever higher being you believe in, that things are gonna be good. You know, everything is temporary. Some things you can't control, so why stress over it, you know? And, you know, we try to control everything, and I feel like that's our downfall. I have such terrible control issues. I try to control everything. I try to control everybody. Like, I have bad control issues, because it's like, I'm very stubborn, and I like to control things, and I'm working on that. But, you know, I'm a work in progress like everybody else is. What's happening today may not be happening tomorrow, so why even trip about it? You know, like, feel how you want to feel, but then let it go. You know, like, learn how to realize that life is what you make it. And life is something that, you know, it's unenjoyable if you stress about it, point blank. Make it unenjoyable. You make it unenjoyable for yourself, you know, by stressing about everything. Learn how to just chill and relax and go with the flow. So that's what I learned, you know, just to not take life so seriously, because just don't. The next lesson that I learned is, don't subject yourself to the depressing world around you. You create your own happiness. What I mean by that is exactly what I said. This society is so built on, like, sadness and low vibrations, and, you know, it tends to rub off on other people. People's energy rubs off on other people. So, oh, my back is killing me. Hold on, let me sit up straight. Do not make that your reality. Don't think because everybody else is sad and depressing and life is because society wants you to be depressed, or the society, you know, makes you feel like you have to be a way, that you have to be that way. Don't let the bad taste get in your mouth. Don't let the bad taste get in your mouth, you know? Don't ever think that you have to feel a kind of way, or you know what I'm saying, like, just know that it's okay to be happy. It's okay. We're all aiming for happiness. Don't just drown yourself in that sorrow and that bad feeling, because that's you digging yourself in a lower hole. Remember, we have control over our happiness and our mentality and our mindset. And our mindset has such a huge impact on our reality. Like I said earlier, I feel like we've, I don't know, like, just don't ever let the bad taste of the world get in your mouth. You know, create your own reality. Create something that you know you will be happy with, that will bring you joy. Because we're all just here to enjoy life. You know, you don't live forever. So why be in a stuck place, in a dark place, you know? And I know I feel like I'm saying like you're like carefree. Like, I know depression and all of that is something that's very hard. It's something that's very complex. And I'm not a professional, but yeah. Anyway, the next thing I want to say that I've learned is that depression and stress, this goes back into what I said, like the last two lessons. Depression and stress are very normalized in this society. Very. We normalize it too much. We normalize bad mental health as a unit when it is sucky. It's terrible when you actually go through it. And it's like everybody's making depression like a trend and bad mental health a trend, when it's not fun at all. Like, nobody just wants to be in, and I feel like we get comfortable in, because it's all we're used to. We get comfortable in the dark place because that's what we're used to and that's what we've grown. We don't know any light outside of that tunnel. So we tend to just stay comfortable in that because it's all we really know. But I know people that do that. You know, it's just like they're like they've grown like accustomed to the dark place that they're in. And that's not good. But I feel like the society that we live in, we normalize depression and stress and everything. And that's not something that should be normalized. It's something that's very, very, very hard to go through. And I feel like we don't comfort each other enough through these things. We should be helping each other aim to be in a better place. Like, I just don't think that we should keep normalizing bad mental health when it's something that shouldn't even be, you know, normalized. Like, that's something very serious and very draining, and it's just bad. Like, so I feel like that's a lesson that I've learned. Like, it's something that with society, it's like everybody's depressed, everybody's sad, everybody's stressed. Like, we need to become enlightened and help each other become enlightened and know that that's not the right way to live. It's not a fun way to live. It's not a good way to go about your days, if that makes sense. I feel like I was kind of talking in circles with that one, but yeah. Okay, the next lesson that I learned is to live at your own pace. What I mean by that is, like I said in the beginning, just because somebody else is doing something does not mean that you have to be doing it. And everybody's pace is different in life. Your pace may be slower than the next, and your pace may be faster than the next. But that does not mean that yours is any more valid or invalid. Just, we all have different paths. And live at your pace. Don't be pressured to do something that you're not ready to do. Don't think that you have to be this way at a certain age or this way at a certain time, because that's not the case. We all move at different paces, and just because you're not somewhere where you want to be, it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. You know, if you really want it, you know, keep going towards it, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up about it because you're not there. That's what I mean by living at your own pace. So yeah, don't let anybody else tell you where you need to be. Don't let anybody else tell you where you need to be. Like, that's not even really something that should be happening. You know, don't let anybody else tell you where you need to be or bash you for being where you are. So yeah, just be patient with yourself. Your time is gonna come. Another lesson I learned is don't let others have control over your emotions for long. This is something that I'm telling myself, because we always let other people control how we feel and dictate our mood. This is why I say your mindset, and you are in full control of you, what you receive and what you give. This is something that we tend to, forget. You're always in control of you. And what you decide to accept and decline. Other people can be draining, and if you let them have that control over you and your emotions, you're letting them win, because they're doing them and you're just moping around. And I'm not saying just neglect your feelings. It's okay to feel how you feel, but don't let that be for long, because at a certain point it's just them becoming the reason or dictating how you, controlling you, when you have control. You're supposed to have control of you and how you go about things. Don't let other people dictate your mood, because what's the point? The only person that should be able to dictate your mood for long is you. And that's what you need to do. If you don't want to feel a certain way, don't give that other person the power, especially if they're mad negative. Don't give that other person the power to bring you down or make you feel some kind of way. Remember, you're in control. You got this. And don't let other people's negative projections rub off on you for too long. So that's what I mean by don't let other people have too much control over your emotions, because that can be draining to you and not to them. And practice detachment and boundaries. That's another thing that I forgot to say in the beginning of the lesson. It's part of the lesson. Practice detachment and boundaries. And what I mean by that is, don't rely too much on other people to fulfill your needs. You have control over that aspect as well. You have the control to set boundaries and practice detachment when it's necessary, and you decide when it's necessary. Detachment can be something that is very beneficial to your well-being, and it can prevent you from being in a mope for long. When you learn how to detach healthily, is that a word? When you detach in a healthy way, that's something that can, benefit you in the long run. What I mean by detachment is, learn how to have your own identity. When we're with people, or when you're with friends or in a relationship, you tend to rely on that person for your happiness and your emotions and everything. But we need to have our own identity at all times and don't lose ourselves. And when you practice detachment, and this can be you doing things on your own and journaling and having your own identity, that's practicing detachment. And coming to terms with your emotions and everything, that's how you don't let people have control over your emotions all the time, because you've learned how and when to detach. And I didn't really get that full into the detachment details, but I feel like in another video I will. Anyway, and boundaries, of course. You have to set boundaries for you and for the other person if necessary, or if you feel that it's necessary. The last lesson that I've learned that I'm going to talk about in this video is never, 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 never conform. Your authenticity is all you have. That is your power. And what I mean by never conform is, never conform to the norm or the usual. We all have something that nobody else can take from us, and we all have our own authentic character and personality. And that can be a very, very, very beneficial thing. That is a very beneficial thing, because that makes you you. Never conform to what the next person is doing or what the next person is saying. We all have our own identities. Live how you want to live. Never conform to the societal way that they think you should live. Whatever works for you, as long as it's not harmful or negative or anything. And even if it is, I mean, shoot, as long as you're not bringing that to nobody else, do you. And just be nice to people and, live how you want to live. Because we're here for but so long. So never conform. And your authenticity is all you have. And I like to think about, you see people in the media, celebrities. You know, this is why I like, love Rihanna, because she's authentic. Like, you know, when it's like her fashion, like, I love celebrities and I love people who don't conform or don't let other people try to tell them how to be, or they're outside the box. Like, be different, be creative. Like, it's no fun to just be inside the box. But I know some people like to be inside the box, and that's fine. But if you want to be outside the box, that's completely fine. But that's all I really have for today. These are the lessons that I've learned in my 18th trip around the sun. I'm very, very grateful that I made it to this point. And, no matter how much I beat myself up about things, and, I still have time. And this is to everybody, we still have time to make mistakes and learn. And we have control. This generation, remember, I want us to be the generation that is like, we do what we want. And we do what makes us happy. We don't do what makes other people happy for us. I want us to be the ones that break the generational curses, bring something fresh and new to the plate. This is what I've learned. I hope you guys left with something. I hope you guys resonated with what I had to say. These are the lessons that I've learned. I've already said it like 15 times. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that's gonna be. I can't even tell ya, but I'm pretty sure it'll be soon. I'm not even gonna say that, because in the last video I said I was gonna be back in like a couple days, and that was wrong. So I'll see you guys whenever I record another video. I'm gonna try to make it not so long, but who knows. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Stay cool, stay creative, stay nice.